Hey guys, welcome to episode 28 of After School with Mr. Van Huss. It is almost the end of the school year, so that means it is time for the season finale of After School with Mr. Van Huss. And I have saved a great interview for our season finale. The guy I'm going to talk to today is a living legend. He is one of the greatest professional wrestlers ever. He has been in WWE, he's been in WCW, the NWA, TNA. You can currently see him in AEW. He is a two-time Hall of Famer with both WWE and TNA, and he is a 12-time former world champion. He is Double J. He is the last outlaw. It is my great pleasure to welcome today Mr. Jeff Jarrett. Welcome to After School with Mr. Van Huss. It is my great pleasure to be here today with Mr. Jeff Jarrett. Jeff, how's it going today?
Oh, Drew, we finally nailed it down. I'm in my, like I like to call it, my mobile studio. I've done many a Zoom call from the car, but it's been a long time coming. I'll get off well, maybe your students or your viewers may not know, but we tried to align this for quite some time. So I'm ready to go. And again, man, we've been buds for a while, and I love to see you on the ball field out there when you got the microphone, got the stick in your hand, and you're calling the Special Olympics event. So I want to say thank you publicly for doing that every year. You're an inspiration, my man, because you always go a little above and beyond the call of duty. So I appreciate that.
Well, it is my pleasure, and you'll have to look out next fall. We're going to be doing an event at our school that Cody will probably be able to be a part of. My best friend from college and I, we started a foundation called the Every Kid is a Hero Foundation. And I guess next year, we just had an event in Rutherford County, and next October will be our third event in Sumner County. And what we
Right
do
on.
is we make custom comic books for all the special education students of Sumner County, all the high school age.
Yeah,
And we give them these custom comic books where it puts them as the main character in the story. And
love
so
it.
they get to be the main character, and then we use the event to raise money for special education teachers to where they can take that money and do whatever they want within their classroom. So it should be a fun time. So if you're in town, you'll have to come by and say hi to us on that event day.
Love to, love to, love to.
Awesome. Well, I'll be honest with you. Starting out, I think the first time I ever became aware of Jeff Jarrett, I think I was in high school. I was
Oh boy.
watching WWF, and you came in attacking the Undertaker. You had an epic feud with Razor Ramon over the Intercontinental title. Had some classic matches with Shawn Michaels, and I got to be honest, I kind of hated you a little bit because you were doing your job, but you were messing with all my guys because I was a Razor guy and I was an HBK guy. And man, here comes this wannabe country music star in here, like taking them all out and taking the title. But I loved it. I've been a fan of your work ever since then, and followed your career no matter where you went. So starting out, what influenced you to do what you do? What made you want to be a professional athlete and a sports entertainer?
Oh boy, Drew. I was hoping you were going to say the first time you saw me was when I walked in Station Camp High School and watched some high school girls basketball. But I guess you're dating or aging both of us, but that's all good. But no, it's as I'm talking to a teacher in a classroom, I think it's important for me to kind of give my entire backstory. So. Uh, my parents divorced when I was 3 years of age. And so completely two different sets of households. My father and his mother, so my grandmother, they were professional wrestling promoters. My grandmother got in the business in 1946 and really did everything but wrestle. She worked her way up to what we would call a CFO, a chief financial officer. She kept the books and ran the business operation side of things, and she promoted lots and lots of shows through her long career. My dad went to school, graduated, went to college, going to play football, came back home and got a corporate job. And in the corporate world, it wasn't for him. He found out kind of quick that just as things developed. So he went back to what he did in high school, and that's promote professional wrestling shows. And so I'm a third generation wrestling promoter. I say all this to say on my mom's side of the family, a completely different story. All educators. There's a few schools in the Middle Tennessee area that are named after aunts or relatives of mine. My grandmother started the adult education program in Metro Nashville. My mom worked in the school system from day one. And so my background is education and professional wrestling. I played 1 year college ball, had all the intentions of, filling up my 4 years. I was going to play 2 years of college, junior college ball, and then go on and finish at a 4 year school. But the wrestling bug got me. And in the spring of '86 is when I had my very first match. And as you say, I really never looked back. I got into wrestling and just loved it. I had a incredible. I'm one of five kids, so I've got four siblings, and none of them followed the path of professional wrestling for a career. And I was one of those ones that I feel today hadn't always felt that way. It was always kind of an up and down throughout the years. But I got bit with a bug that I incredibly passionate. I love what I do today more than I do when I broke in. And this is my 38th year in the professional wrestling industry and still going strong. And we'll get into that. But I work for AEW Wrestling in business development. I'm an on-screen character. Two-time Hall of Famer, and so I've had a long career. But like I said, some folks in any kind of industry, when they get up and had a long career, they're kind of ready to move on and maybe try things or just retire. That's not in my DNA, and like I said, I love it more today than I did when I get in, and I feel very, very fortunate for that.
That's incredible. Like I said, I've been a wrestling fan ever since I was a kid. I think earliest stuff I can remember, I remember watching like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant and stuff with my grandfather. I think right around Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior, WrestleMania 6, right around there, it just got me. And I was always a comic book guy too. So, the stories of good and evil and the flashy characters, it just always appealed to me. And it's something that I have followed up to this day. Now I've got two kids of my own, and my son especially loves it, and he watches a lot of like WWE and AEW and a lot of things like that. And it's just, it's always been something that I've thought is a ton of fun. Who are some of your wrestling heroes? Was there anybody that, like, when you first started back in the '80s, anybody that you wanted to be like, or anybody that influenced you?
Oh, Drew, you're getting into my podcast world, which, pardon the pun, is called My World. New episodes drop every Tuesday, but it's something that I have talked about off and on for quite a few years. And I've always, whether it's a car ride, a train ride, a plane ride, or whatever, always it's what we do in our travel time to pass the time is kind of talk about our roots and where we came from and what we liked and what we didn't like about the business. But at the end of the day, Jerry the King Lawler was my father's business partner, but he was the top dog in this 7-state area. I'm based obviously here in Hendersonville, the Middle Tennessee area, and have my whole life. And my father and him were business partners for a lot of years. And so the King, Jerry Lawler, a lot of folks know him today as a color commentator on WWE Raw, but many moons ago, he was the top good guy in this area. And I really again, feel so fortunate because when I first met him, I was, I don't know, 10, 11, 8, 9, 10, 11 years, 12 years of age. And I was a fan of him. And then I broke into the business and I had a mentor-mentee relationship, a business relationship. And then, we got to wrestle a couple of times together. And then, obviously we became friends over the years. And then, to this day, I really respect his career and his skill set. He's a very diversified businessman, if you will. So Jerry Lawler is one of them. Macho Man Randy Savage. I loved everything about Randy the man, but also Randy the talent. He's just an incredible performer in so many different ways. He's passed on now, but Randy Savage is another one. And then I could go down a long list, but I'll just stop at those two right now.
I will say I was a big Macho Man guy too, just his interviews and his matches. Like it was a cut above what a lot of people were doing those days. And Lawler, to me, the King was always so far ahead of his time, because for the younger generation who may not have seen it, if you look back on like YouTube or something now, if you see what he did with Andy Kaufman, they were so far ahead of their time and some of that stuff. Like nobody was doing that kind of stuff back then. And it was
Yeah.
just, it was wildly entertaining and just sucked people in like crazy.
Sports entertainment before it was called sports entertainment. Now you see Bad Bunny or Logan Paul or Mike Tyson or all kinds of celebrities kind of dip their toe in and out of it. Back in those days, yes, what Andy did, and getting on national television, David Letterman show, it was just it was like you said, it was just so unique, but so far above its time.
So in school, did you have a favorite teacher or a favorite coach or anybody who pushed you along and encouraged you to chase your dreams or anything like that?
I did. And look, I had, I can remember my third grade teacher and just kind of the patience she showed with me. I remember my elementary school football and basketball coach, same person, that showed like a desire in that, but at the very top of the list, and it kind of relates here to this entire situation, being you at station camp, but Coach Ronnie Sarver, he's Ron Sarver's father. Ron is the athletic director at HHS, but his father, Ronnie Sarver, was my coach at Goodpasture High School. And at a time in my life, I moved from my mother's house to my father's house. I'm a young kid, young boy, like a lot of boys, rebellious, wanted to run the world, but didn't really have a clue. Loved basketball, but Coach Sarver put a unique kind of inspiration in me that I resonated with, and it was all really built around discipline. He would have a saying: if you're more prepared than your opponent in the fourth quarter than they are, then you're going to win, because it's easy to beat somebody who's out of shape. And he would really say it in simple terms, but I've carried that with me in so many ways in my life, in that, it's easy to do, or what we're expected. Whether you go to practice or if you're in the classmate, you hand out study guides. It's really easy to do what's asked of you. Where the rubber meets the road and how you separate it is you got to go above and beyond what you're asked to do. And that's kind of pushing yourself to the next level. And that's something that Coach Sarver at times ruled with an iron fist. It was just a different different time, different model, and a different discipline mindset that candidly doesn't exist to this day. And that's, to me, unfortunate. I think it says a lot, and I may sound jaded here, but I think it's reflective of society. But Coach Sarver had the ability and the green light from administration and just everything, but he really pushed us to the limit. And right when he would get us to the limit, he'd push us a little bit further. But and that speaks to his love for us. He really cared and wanted us to do the absolute best. And I did things from a athletic conditioning point of view that I didn't think had in me. And it takes someone, you really can't push yourself beyond the breaking point and until you're kind of up in age. But in the formative years, Coach Sarver is someone that I owe an immense amount of gratitude and thanks. And I wouldn't be really who I am today had he not instilled those kind of life lessons in me in my high school years.
That's awesome. So let's say that somebody watching has never seen a Jeff Jarrett match. Okay. They're starting out. What do you tell them to go watch?
Oh, the one match? You're saying a one match?
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of stood out to you over the years.
Look, I don't think you can go wrong if you go watch a Jeff Jarrett Shawn Michaels match or a Jeff Jarrett Kurt Angle match. I think those two opponents, and they're both incredibly athletically gifted, knew the craft extremely well, had a passion for the business, much like myself. Those two opponents, I think, in a lot of ways, encapsulate my entire career.
Awesome. And those are two very, very good ones. So you've got the ear of some high school kids. What is one life lesson that you have learned that you think you should pass on to them?
Oh boy. I think in a lot of ways it drills down to such a very, very simplistic mindset. Drew, and I think that's a great question. This is one thing that there's so many layers to this that me and you and your students could probably talk for quite some time. But it truly boils down to do your very best for today. If you get into yesterdays and regrets and guilt and shame and something didn't go your way, or you didn't do something right way, or you messed up, or somebody messed with you that candidly wasn't your fault. If you had different issues in your past, whether it's your fault or somebody else's fault, and you kind of dwell on that, that's no good. If you get into tomorrows and futures, and I hope this happened, and I hope that happens, and what happens if this happens, whether it's doom and gloom, or maybe it's a delusionally optimistic kind of point of view down the road, that can kind of get you in trouble. If you really focus on, I'm going to do the very best I can today, whether it's take a test or study for a test, whether it's practice my sport or play in a game in my sport, whether it's prepare study lessons, prepare for a game, whether it's I'm going to make sure that I spend time with my brother or sister or older brother, sister, whatever it is, really focus on your 24 hours. If you can really do that, you have such a leg up on life, because so many people, and I'm guilty of this. This is a lesson I learned the hard way, living in yesterday or in the future, and nothing that would, I'd say it's not like I woke up and tried to do wrong. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. It's how the human mind works, in that living in yesterday or living tomorrow. And the reality is, all we can really control is today. But if you control each day and put a couple of 24 days after, a day, you keep going on that, and day after day after day, you're going to kind of find an incredible amount of power and growth in that mindset. But focus on today is to me one of the biggest life lessons that I've had to learn the hard way.
Excellent, excellent advice. Jeff, I can't thank you enough for talking to me. I greatly appreciate your time. I greatly appreciate your friendship. I know it's always fun to see you at a station camp or a Hendersonville game, and I know all our students always get a kick out of it and stuff. So it's a lot of fun.
Drew, thanks for having me on. Sorry it took so long, but I do appreciate you having me on. Enjoyed this a lot.
Hey, and the next time AEW comes through town, if you need a good corner man, I will volunteer my time.
You're there, brother.
You just let me know.
Just bring the guitar.
Absolutely. Hey, thank you very much for staying after school with Mr. Van Huss, and we'll see you soon. Thanks, Jeff. Hey, I appreciate you so much talking to me.
Can you stay on the line just 2 seconds?
Absolutely.
You're not going to believe this. You're truly not going to believe this. I got to take my earbuds off. Stay on.
Okay, I'll stay right here.
You there?
I'm here.
You will never guess who just walked in front of me.
Who just walked in front of you?
What are you doing, man? You'll never guess who I'm just talking to.
I can recognize that voice right there. That's Seth Massey.
What's going on right now? This is the most bizarre thing. I looked up while he does his after school video YouTube show. All this. Yeah. I'm looking up. I'm talking to him, and I go, Coach, that's Coach Massey. So cool, man. Yeah, man. We just finished. Anyway, that's funny.
Small
that's
world, dude.
Were y'all recording? We were recording right there. I've been aligned to this, and I put me on the video, Drew.
I'll give you a special shout out in my video.
Give me a shout out. All right, man.
So funny. I'll see you, Jeff. Take it easy, man.
See you, bud.
See you, Massey.
See you, Drew.